Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. I'm Nicodemus Kane. Today is January the 31st of 2023. It is a Tuesday. That's all I really have to say. There's really nothing else I really have to say or want to say or care to say. I have just been contemplating life, contemplating the things the way things have gone, and I had a very good prayer this morning, and I really have nothing. I actually had some things as I was getting ready this morning, but that all just it went away. Which, hey, sometimes that happens. Sometimes the Father takes the burden off your back. So, I don't have anything today, right now. So I think what we should probably do is just go ahead and read Jeremiah 37 and find whatever word that the Father wants us to hear this morning, and then we'll go from there. I will say I was clearing my throat, and my throat is a little rough today. Not because I'm sick or anything, just because I was clearing my throat. You ever wake up and just had to really, really clear your throat, and then you left a rough spot on it, so now it's kind of rough. But we will get through this. I had a whole bunch to say. I really did. And I don't think it's time. I don't think it's time to say it. I think there's a reason why I was sitting here just contemplating, and I decided, you know what, we don't need to talk about it. There's a reason. I don't know why. Father tells me not to say it, so we're not going to worry about it right now. I don't know what it was. So Jeremiah 37. Let's go ahead and do this then. Some days you just have to follow. Some days you just have to follow, no matter how much you want to speak out and you want to say something. If the Father tells you not to talk, don't, just leave it off. But let's speak His word. Let's see what He has to say. So again, Jeremiah 37. And King Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Jehoiakim, whom Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, made king in the land of Judah. But neither he, nor his servants, nor the people of the land did hearken unto the words of the Lord, which he spake by the prophet Jeremiah. And Zedekiah the king sent Jehukal, there it is. Jehukal, it's a J, so it's actually a Y. Jehukal, the son of Shemaiah, and Zephaniah, the son of Maaseiah, the priest, to the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Pray now unto the Lord our God for us. Now Jeremiah came in and went out among the people, for they had not put him into prison. Then Pharaoh's army was come forth out of Egypt, and when the Chaldeans that besieged Jerusalem heard tidings of them, they departed from Jerusalem. Alright, there's a pilker at 6. So let's go back up to the top. And King Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Jehoiakim. So, let me remember if I can get this family bloodline right. I know it probably doesn't matter in the end, but let's see. Zedekiah, last king of Judah, no, Jehoiakim is the son of Josiah. So Zedekiah the son of Josiah instead of Coniah the son of Jehoiakim. Another name for King Jehoiachin. I don't remember the bloodline. I don't remember how it worked. Because we said there was a definite distinction. There was a definite series of sons of Jehoiakim. So anyways, King Zedekiah was put in place instead of Coniah, which is another name for Jehoiachin, Chin. I guess that's how you, or Jehoiakin, maybe? I don't know. But Nebuchadnezzar put him there. Okay, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, made king in the land of Judah. Because God said he would rule over him, and that he would rule. And what would happen was he would see his lands fall. You have to remember that too. But neither he nor his servants, nor the people of the land, did hearken unto the words of the Lord, which he spake by the prophet Jeremiah. Well, that's been pretty much the entirety of the past, 6 chapters. It's no matter what, they just didn't want to listen. Of course, then again, that's pretty much the whole book, to be honest. And Zedekiah the king sent Jehucal, the son of Shemaiah, and Zephaniah, the son of Maaseiah, the priest, to the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Pray now unto us the Lord our God for us. Pray now unto the Lord our God for us. That's what it was. Now Jeremiah came in and went out among the people, for they had not put him into prison. So is this before the time that he was put into prison, or is this after the time he got put into prison? This is after. So what, he went out into the people because they had not put him into prison? Or because... See, again, sometimes the timeline gets... This is not a perfect chronological order. It doesn't matter right now, though. But he went out into the people. Then Pharaoh's army was come forth out of Egypt. And when the Chaldeans that besieged Jerusalem heard tidings of them, they departed from Jerusalem. Now, if we keep going, it's going to say that Pharaoh's army came out to help them. I'm skipping ahead right now, but you have to remember in Isaiah, God talked to the king and said, why would you go down and ask the Egyptians for help? Because they knew that, they were going to be, God kept saying, I'm going to send the Assyrian up and he's going to wipe you out. And you're going to go down to the Egyptians and you're going to ask them for help. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to go to the people that I pulled you out of and ask them for help against somebody else that I'm going to send up against you? He said that's not going to work. Whether you think it's going to work or not, that's not going to work, because that is not the way that I am planning on doing this. So now this is the Pharaoh's army that came out of Egypt, and when the Chaldeans that besieged Jerusalem heard the tidings of them, they departed from Jerusalem, because nobody can stand against Pharaoh's army. You have to think about that for a second too. God took the Israelites out of Egypt, decimated the Egyptian armies. I mean, they were practically nothing after that. And yet somehow they built themselves back up so much that when the Chaldeans heard about the Egyptians, they fled. Oh no, it's the Egyptians. We gotta watch out for that. Think about that for a second. Verse 6, Then came the word of the Lord unto the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Thus shall ye say to the king of Judah, that sent you unto me to inquire of me, Behold, Pharaoh's army, which has come forth to help you, shall return to Egypt, into their own land. And the Chaldeans shall come again, and fight against the city, and take it, and burn it with fire. Thus saith the Lord, Deceive not yourselves, saying, The Chaldeans shall surely depart from us, for they shall not depart. For though ye had smitten the whole army of the Chaldeans that fight against you, and there remained but wounded men among them, yet should they rise up every man in his tent, and burn this city with fire. Say once again, it's saying, even though they may be fleeing now, they're going to come back. God said they're going to come and they're going to burn this place with fire because you chose not to listen to me. You went out and you got the Egyptians of all people to come in and to help you fight. It would be like America going to North Korea to help them fight the Chinese. Seriously? That's exactly what it is. It's like you're going to go get who to do what? Let's go back up to verse 6. Then came the word of the Lord unto the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Thus shall ye say to the king of Judah, that sent you unto me to inquire of me, Behold, Pharaoh's army, which has come forth to help you, because you went out to get the Pharaoh's army, shall return to Egypt into their own land, and the Chaldeans shall come again, and fight against this city, and take it and burn it with fire. Thus saith the Lord, Deceive not yourselves, saying, The Chaldeans shall surely depart from us, for they shall not depart, they will not be going away yet. For though ye had smitten the whole army of the Chaldeans that fight against you, and there remained but wounded men among them, yet should they rise up every man in his tent, and burn the city with fire. Even though you were able to hold back the Chaldeans with the Egyptians, and you left them all wounded, and they were all hurting, they're still going to get up, wounded men and all, and they're still going to come take this city. One of the things that somebody had said is, how could such a great army, such as the Israelites, Jerusalem, the ones that took down the giants, how could they lose to all of these other nations that they beat? And it's because God said, you will lose. You will be weak when these things come. I will send these things onto you, and you will not be able to prosper over them. No matter what you do, no matter who you call, no matter how you do it, these things will happen. When he brings judgment upon America, sad to say, whenever it happens, that even though America supposedly has the best fighting army in the world, they will be weak to whatever comes. Because that is the power of God. That is what he is able to do. It's the same thing here. Wounded men will come against you, and they will be able to take over everything, and they will burn this city with fire. Verse 11, and it came to pass that when the army of the Chaldeans was broken up from Jerusalem for fear of Pharaoh's army, then Jeremiah went forth out of Jerusalem to go into the land of Benjamin, to separate himself thence in the midst of the people. And when he was in the gate of Benjamin, a captain of the ward was there, whose name was Arijah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Hananiah. And he took Jeremiah the prophet, saying, Thou fallest away to the Chaldeans. Then said Jeremiah, It is false. I fall not away to the Chaldeans. But he hearkened not to him. So Arijah took Jeremiah and brought him to the princes. Wherefore the princes were wroth with Jeremiah, and smote him, and put him in prison in the house of Jonathan, the scribe, for they had made that the prison. Interesting things afoot here. So back up to 11. And it came to pass that when the army of the Chaldeans was broken up from Jerusalem for fear of Pharaoh's army, Then Jeremiah went forth out of Jerusalem to go into the land of Benjamin, to separate himself thence in the midst of the people. So when the Chaldeans were running away, were fleeing, that was whenever Jeremiah said, okay, now's the time I need to get out of this city, because these people aren't going to listen. Because no matter what I say, no matter what I do, all they do is they mock me, they scoff at me. So they're not listening. I said the word of God. God's telling me now I have to go and preach to another people. So that's what he did. He decided to get out of there and go into the land of Benjamin. And when he was in the gate of Benjamin, the captain of the ward was there, whose name was Arijah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Hananiah. And he took Jeremiah the prophet, saying, Thou fallest away to the Chaldeans. You have turned sides. Of course, I'm sure by this point, the word of Jeremiah had probably gotten there. And this guy may or may not have known who he was, may or may not have known the things that he has said. And of course, when you speak out against the nations, what's going to happen? They're going to mock you, they're going to scoff you, they're going to call you names, they're going to try to bring you down, they're going to eventually put you in prison because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear anything you have to say that goes against the party line, which is exactly the things that are happening now. So of course, he says, you're with the Chaldeans now, aren't you? You're falling away to the Chaldeans. You're here to spy on us or something, aren't you? Then said Jeremiah, It is false. I fall not away to the Chaldeans. But he hearkened not to him. So Arijah took Jeremiah and brought him to the princes. Wherefore the princes were wroth with Jeremiah. Again, could they have known? Surely they would have known. Surely the kings of Judah, the kings of Jerusalem would have said, hey, there's this guy. He keeps coming around. He's come around to us several times now, and we've had to put him in prison, and somehow he gets out, and all this other kind of stuff. And he keeps saying that all of our lands are going to be taken. Watch out for this guy. Wherefore the princes were wroth with Jeremiah, and smote him. Well, did they smote him? Did they smite him just because he was speaking the words? Well, it was also says here that they think that he was flipping sides. They will make up any excuse. They will make up any excuse, and they will lie about it. And no matter what you say, no matter how many other people come to your side, if they want you to go away, they will make you go away. That's the way of this world, because they don't want to hear the truth, and they will do everything in their power to keep from hearing the truth, any truth that you have to speak. But it doesn't matter. You were sent here by God to do something, and that is to speak the truth. That is to speak His word. That is to speak it as loudly and plainly as possible to those that will hear it. No matter what happens, have faith that the Father has your back. Wherefore the princes were wroth with Jeremiah, and smote him, and put him in prison in the house of Jonathan the scribe, for they had made that the prison. The house of Jonathan the scribe, they had made that the prison. It was, they had a scribe, and they said, we don't need a scribe anymore. We're going to do this ourselves. And they made it a prison. Verse 16. When Jeremiah was entered into the dungeon, and into the cabins, and Jeremiah had remained there many days, then Zedekiah the king sent and took him out. And the king asked him secretly in his house, and said, Is there any word from the Lord? And Jeremiah said, There is. For said he, Thou shalt be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon. Moreover Jeremiah said unto King Zedekiah, What have I offended against thee, or against thy servants, or against this people, that ye have put me in prison? Where are now your prophets which prophesied unto you, saying, The king of Babylon shall not come against you, nor against this land? Therefore hear now, I pray thee, O my lord the king, let my supplication, I pray thee, be accepted before thee, that thou cause me not to return to the house of Jonathan the scribe, lest I die there. Then Zedekiah the king commanded that they should commit Jeremiah into the court of the prison, and that they should give him daily a piece of bread out of the baker's street, until all the bread in the city were spent. Thus Jeremiah remained in the court of the prison. So we'll talk about this one starting back up at the top. When Jeremiah was entered into the dungeon and into the cabins, and Jeremiah had remained there many days, then Zedekiah the king sent and took him out, and the king asked him secretly in his house. The king asked him secretly in his house, and said, Is there any word from the Lord? And Jeremiah said, There is. For said he, Thou shalt be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon. So Zedekiah pulled Jeremiah out of this place, and he said, So have you received any more word? Probably to see if he's going to change his tune. And of course Jeremiah said, Yeah, I heard something. He said, You're still going to fall. You're still going to fall to the king of the Babylon. Or to the king of Babylon. Moreover Jeremiah said unto King Zedekiah, What have I offended against thee, or against thy servants, or against this people, that ye put me in prison? What have I done to you? The first thing you did every time I opened my mouth was you put me in prison. Why? Is free speech not a thing anymore? Can we not talk about what's going on? All you had to do was listen. All you had to do was listen and hear the words. In turn, it's not that I'm going to pull these things onto you. You're killing the messenger for the message. It's not that I'm going to bring these things down upon you. God said he's going to bring these things down upon you. But you don't want to listen. You don't listen to any of that. I lost my place. Wow. Absolutely lost my place. What have I offended against thee, or against thy servants, or against this people, that ye have put me in prison? Where are now your prophets which prophesied unto you, saying, The king of Babylon shall not come against you, nor against this land? You remember we were talking about, what was his name? Hananiah, not the same one. Remember, there's like at least 10 different Hananiahs in the Bible. But he came in and he was trying to tell the people, oh, don't worry, the king of Babylon will be turned away and everything will be just fine, or he'll come here for 3 days and then he'll leave, or something like that. I don't know what it was, or 3 years or something. I don't know exactly what it was. And Jeremiah said, well, I pray to God you're right, but you need to ask the Father if you're really telling the truth. And of course, that Hananiah went out and died, I think. I don't remember exactly what happened. But now he's like, where are all your prophets? Where are all the people that were out here before saying you'll be okay? Where are all them? Apparently you don't have any of them. It's either that or they're telling you what you want to hear, and they're all living it up in the palace somewhere. Me, I told you the truth. I told you what came from God's own lips, and you imprisoned me. So verse 20, Now therefore hear now, I pray thee, O Lord my King, let my supplication, I pray thee, be accepted before thee, that thou cause me not to return to the house of Jonathan the scribe, lest I die there. It must have been pretty bad. It must have been a pretty bad place. Then Zedekiah the king commanded that they should commit Jeremiah into the court of the prison, and that they should give him daily a piece of bread out of the baker's street, until all the bread in the city were spent. Thus Jeremiah remained in the court of the prison. So he remained in the court of the prison. He didn't remain down in the dungeon. He remained in the court. but he was still in a prison. He was in the corner of the prison. He was not allowed to move around, but he was allowed to speak openly. He was allowed to have people come in and write down his words. So Zedekiah had a little bit of mercy on him. You know, Jeremiah was like, why? Why are you doing these things to me? Because I gave you something you didn't want to hear. He said, look, if you leave me in that place, I'm going to die. So he brought him up into a better place. But he was still in prison. Why? Because he was telling the truth. Because he was telling them something they didn't want to hear. Which is exactly the way that a vast majority of people are treating all of us that are just trying to simply speak the truth of not only God's word, but just anything. I've seen so much mockery, so much blatant resistance to hearing anything whatsoever, because people are so locked into their own mentality. They are so locked into believing the things of this world. They won't hear anything else. Even if you put it right in front of their face. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen it and I have had it happen to me personally. You can show them evidence. Put it right in their face. Ask them. Just simply look at this. Watch this video. Listen to somebody else say it. Listen to the person that invented this thing that is killing you. Go to the website. Go to the other sources. Look what your own media is telling you. This is front page Google. How many times have I said that? This is front page Google. You don't have to go that far. No matter how much you say it, they just refuse to listen. And they will look at you and they will laugh at you and they will say things like, oh, no, I don't have to go search that out. Just the media's told me this. They just say that you're some crazy conspiracy nut. That or the best one I've ever heard is, well, I'm not going to watch some YouTube video. You're just a crack. You're not going to watch something. Somebody's trying to tell you that there's somebody purposely out there trying to kill you. And you won't take 10 minutes of your time to simply watch a video that tells you they're lying to you. And it's not even the best example. The best example was 2 years ago when I made the compilation video of all of the doctors and scientists and officials. They got on television. They were recorded saying this, that they count all the virus of unknown origins. They count all of those deaths as people that died with it and not from it. I've gone on and on about this, and I think every time I say it, I get a video pulled. So I put that together. It was at least 5 sources, I think. It was, one of them was inside of the White House itself. Burks, what's-her-face, Burks, before she got ousted. And then it was the health director of Illinois. It was Burks. I think it was some health directors in the UK. I think it was another one from, where was it? I don't want to say Ohio. I think it was Canada. It's either Canada or maybe Australia. Because Canada was the one they tweeted it out. I had to keep the tweet too. That was after the fact. But then there was the meeting from Texas where they were sitting there talking they were talking to the Texas commissioner or whatever it was, and they were saying, these are the new rules. And the guy himself even says, wow, the way that these are set up, it sounds like they could really manipulate some numbers doing it like this. You wonder why Texas was one of the ones that didn't want to follow the rules. Because they had the meeting and the guy said, wow, it sounds like they have the opportunity to really manipulate the way things work. But that's all it was. There was no commentary. It wasn't me sitting there talking. It was I'm sure it was 5. I think it was 5. And it's still on YouTube. It's still there to see. And I was talking to a doctor. I was talking to a couple people actually. And the first guy I started talking to before this doctor came in, and I was like, look, if I can prove to you that they say that they're inflating the numbers, would you at least consider the fact that maybe something's going on? They said, well, yeah, I would, but you're just a quack anyway, so I can't believe anything you say. I said, look, seriously, just watch it. I said, it's no commentary. It's not me talking. This is just what they're saying. And so I put a link to the video. Of course, the first thing I got was, well, I just can't watch a YouTube video just to get the... And I said, it's not what it is. See, you don't understand what's going on. You won't even give it the time of day because you're so wrapped up in wanting to believe the lie. You won't even hear any of the truth. Oh, you're just some stupid conspiracy theorist. Go get your shots. Something like that. And of course, the doctor I was talking to... This was a doctor. He wasn't like some, big medical professional, but he was, he was a doctor, trying to convince me, all these different things, trying to tell me about all of these patients and everything he has. And so I kept asking him the questions. I said, what does this mean? Why would they say this? He said, well, do you have proof that they said? I said, yes, I do. Here's the video itself. And I think he watched the video. And he came back and he said, well, I don't know why they would say that. I said, but what we have is we have proof that yada yada. And I'm like, wait a minute, stop. You're going to tell me that you watched the video, you heard their own words, and you still won't listen to it. So, well, it's got to mean something. I'll ask some doctors of mine anyways. And, we went on for a little bit longer than that, but then he snidely ended the conversation by saying, well, you just sound like a conspiracy theorist anyways. Like, we were having a decent conversation until he hit that point. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it because it destroys their worldview, because they are having too much fun living in their own unrighteousness. Because to be able to live that way in this world, that means that they have to follow the rules of this world. They have to follow the evils of this world. I can talk about every single thing that I have spoken against, that I have had to have an argument with somebody, and I just simply say, it's because you're trapped in this world. You can't see the truth. You don't even want to see the truth. So many times. Just like the guy the other day, last week, that he didn't want to even consider the notion that NASA could be lying to him. This wasn't even about flat Earth. This was just about NASA lying and spreading garbage images, garbage videos. And I was like, I doubt this. I highly doubt this. And because I say I highly doubt that they put out an image and say, this is what this is, because I say that, then I'm the worst human being in the world. And that I need to be re-educated somehow. Like they're going to re-educate me by calling me an idiot. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're such an idiot. We have proof that this, and that. I said, well, whose proof is that? So, well, it's NASA's proof. NASA wouldn't lie to us. Bullshit. They're just like everybody else. I said, have you seen the videos that these people take from inside the ISS? Have you seen the hairspray brigade? Have you seen the wire work that they do? Have you seen anything? Well, I don't need to see it to know that you're just a conspiracy theorist. I said, you haven't even looked. I said, I'm not going to go hunt this stuff down for you anymore. Because every time I do, you people tell me you don't want to watch YouTube videos. You people don't want to get your sources from YouTube. I'm not going to give you a source. I'm going to tell you, go watch the ISS footage for yourself. Go see the women with their hair standing straight up on end like the Bride of Frankenstein. Go watch the guys that are sitting there floating, supposedly in space, that look uncomfortable as hell, where you can tell their entire midriff is being supported. Harnesses are not comfortable. I've been in a harness before. They're not comfortable at all. They pull you and they grab you in all the worst wrong ways, and they hurt. Especially if you're a dude, because they're both pushing on either side of your groin, because those straps have to go up around your legs, right beside your groin, and when you put all that weight down on top of them, they pull right up into you. They hurt. And you see them sitting there, their faces are turning red, and they just have this look of pain. And I don't know if that's because they had to film them upside down. I don't know if that's because, that's cutting off the circulation to the bottom part of their body. I don't know. But these guys look like they're fighting it. They're really, really fighting it. And you can't tell me that's not harness work. I think the harnesses have gotten better over time because there's several of the guys that look okay. But I said, what about the CGI work? You've got dudes that are up in space on these videos that are grabbing at things that aren't there to put them back on a shelf. What? You've got a video of a woman that's pulling a teddy bear out of the thin air. That means that they're using some kind of video. That's a lie within itself. But you don't want to look at it. What would that do to your world? It would destroy your worldview. The only reason you don't want to look at it is because it'll destroy your worldview. And of course, it always comes back to, well, you're just stupid and uneducated. You don't know any better. No, I'm educated. I was into this stuff before you were born, probably. And that's probably what it is. I mean, I know I'm fighting with 20-year-olds. I was into NASA before you kids were born. I wanted to go to space camp. I had the astronaut come to our school every year. I did all the studying. I was there. I know what's up. I know what they tell us. I've seen it. I believed it. Now I look at it and I think, holy crap, it was a lie. I get it now. But nobody else wants to see it because they don't want to come out of it. Because if they see the truth, if they know the truth, and they find out that there is a creator, there is somebody there that made all of this, that actually has said, and they've heard it before, that eventually God will punish them for their unrighteousness. They've heard it. That's why they're scared of it. But if they know there is a creator, that means that they have to give up being terrible people. And they have to come to some form of righteousness. And giving up the lie means that they have to do that. And they don't want to come out of it. I've seen that. I've seen that personally in my life. As I've told people why I don't do certain things anymore. I don't even have to explain to them why I don't do certain things. I get called all the names. Again, when I stopped celebrating Christmas, oh man, that you started seeing it. Just immediately. Just it's not even, it's not even that God tells us not to do it. It's that I don't want to participate in this evil society anymore. That's how it started. And to try to explain that to somebody that doesn't understand it, and they went through, my mom was the worst. She went through every excuse possible. Well, why can't you just celebrate the rituals of Christmas? I said, because you just called them rituals. I love my mom, but she just would not listen. All the way through the end, she would not listen to me. She just would not hear a single word I said. And I pray that at the end she made some kind of attempt to talk to God. I told her all she had to do was just pray to him. All she had to do was just pray. I already said, look, I'm already praying on my end. All you have to do is help me out, and you have to pray on your end. I hope she did. I really do. But it was just things like that. Just things about stop eating pork. It's because I didn't want to anymore. If God tells me it's a dirty animal, then fine, I should stop eating it. It's not because I'm worried about going to hell if I eat pork. It's because if God told me it's a filthy animal, then it's an unclean animal that I shouldn't eat, then maybe I should listen to God. Why not? God tells me that taking a tree and putting it in your house is evil, then I should stop doing it. If God tells me that I should quit worshiping the dead, doing magic, following the ways of this world, don't you think that maybe we ought to listen? I mean, this is God here. This isn't like it's not like it's Joe Schmo off the street. He's destroyed nations because people wouldn't do this stuff. He's taken down entire people, entire countries because of this stuff. We're reading it. He kept saying, because you wouldn't hearken to my voice, you wouldn't hear what I told you to do, this whole place is going to be burned down to the ground, and there will be nothing here. It will be desolate. Just because you wouldn't listen. And it's not like he's asking for much. He's just asking us to quit being so freaking evil. It's not even that tall of an order. Quit worshiping other gods that lead to nowhere, that do nothing for you. Everything in this world is just vanity. And the biggest part about it, the one thing that people don't say, is that when you do this evil, that this evil will snowball consistently and continually until it's stopped. I've said that over and over again as well, is that it will snowball more and more and more until eventually you have the days of Noah. And no matter how much anybody wants to say that he was a cruel and unjust and mean God for wiping out all the world, no, he did that because he was trying to save us. He was trying to save the world. Because it had gotten so bad and so evil. There was no coming back. There were frickin' giants in the world that were eating each other. How bad of a world does it have to be? I mean, really. he completely wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah because they were doing some of the filthiest, dirtiest things in the world. And if they were allowed to continue, it would have gone right back to giants eating each other. What else do you want me to say? And eventually, more and more and more, he said, you know what? I'm going to start putting a stop to it sooner. Because apparently they're just not listening. And then it came down to just simply following other gods, doing witchcraft, doing necromancy, worshiping a tree. And he said, I'm going to put a stop to it. And now it's gotten down to the point where he just said, you know what? I want my people to go out and tell all the others. Tell them to stop doing it. Said eventually I'm just going to wipe the whole slate clean. And I'm only going to take the people that want to listen to me. So I'm going to make a new covenant where everybody can be saved. And all they have to do is just stop doing what they're doing and follow me. They don't have to worry about sacrifices. They don't have to worry about all these other things. They don't have to worry about the law of man anymore. They just have to listen to my commandments. And that if they just simply do that, and if they believe in me, and if they follow my Son, who I have sent in order to die for their sins, to wash them clean, if they are baptized in his blood, in his name, and if they come out of the evil that they are doing, then I will save them. Because nothing else seems to work. Because nothing else has worked. Because he's tried over and over and over and over. The Bible is a book of repetitions. It is not a repetition of God. It is a repetition of man's evil. Over and over and over. And he has tried constantly to stop it closer to the source as he can. He's trying to rid the world of evil. He's not trying to manipulate you. He's not trying to take away your joy. He's trying to stop evil at the source. But he said, you know what? Eventually I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to stop doing this. You guys are on your own. You know the word. You know what the word says. Do not be tricked. Do not be fooled. He has said this. Come out of this world. That's the biggest thing. Come out of this world. Stop doing the evil of this world. Stop doing the devil's work for him. But no matter how much you try to convince them, those that are so enraptured in this world, they're so stuck in their ways. Most of them, and God even says this, most of them will not hear it. That's why it's called a broad path. And I see it every day. I see it every day. Over and over and over. That those that are following the broad path think that straddling the fence, going back and forth between saying they are righteous, but then falling for the lies of this world. And they do, man. Whether it's Whether it's the holidays, whether it's which day really is Sabbath, or whether it's how you are told to worship, whether it's following a man-made savior, a man-made political savior. That's the worst. That's the worst right there. Oh, we will believe in X person because they're going to come and save us. Now the big thing is, who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to vote for to... They got memes out there with Trump walking with the Lion of Judah. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I know there's got to be people that might hear this and they might think, oh yeah, don't diss on my Trump. You know what? That's entirely up to you. Who you do and don't want to follow. I know God doesn't want you to follow it. I can almost guarantee that. People say, oh no, well, Trump was sent by God. Trump was the one that put the vaccines out there. You remember him? You remember that? Operation Warp Speed? You gonna tell me that he didn't know? He didn't know what was gonna happen? Really? He's a puppet just like the rest of them. Any man that puts a little hat on his head and goes to a wall and prays to a wall is not a man of God. Sorry, just saying. They're all in on it. You're falling for false rulers, false people. You're falling right into the traps. Remember that Psalms, all the Psalms, even Isaiah was talking about the traps and snares of evil and wicked men in high places. Kings, princes, rulers, setting traps and snares for poor people, for people that don't know any better. That's what your Bible said. We read that. Follow the words of God. That's all it comes down to. It's not evil. It's not wicked. It's not cruel. He just wants us to be able to live in peace and without evil, without darkness, without pain and misery. It's what he wants. He's trying to pull us out of this. So what are you doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm gonna stop. I think that's enough. I shall talk to y'all later. God bless everyone. You take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you later.